Today, Sea Changemakers is talking with James Rowley about his ongoing eco-retrofit project, Hammond Forever House. James Rowley is currently a full-time instructor at ISSBC, a proactive community member, and an ongoing eco-advocate and leader.
Oh, well, thanks very much, Teresa. It's really great to be talking about the house again, because we haven't been talking about the house so much. We've been busy with the kids and the quarantines and, everything else. And it's nice of you to call me an environmental leader. I don't feel like that right now at all. We were really trying to make something happen a few years ago, but then you get involved in a renovation and it just consumes, along with the job and the kids and everything else. So it's nice to be talking about the house again.
Well, I'm curious, what made you decide to start this process of retrofitting this heritage home?
Well, it was a process like a lot of things of little bit by little bit. Leanne and I have been environmentalists, I guess, from the get-go. We just kind of have that on the back of our minds all the time. We were fortunate that when we bought the property from Leanne's mom in 2007, her parents committed to help us fix it up a little as part of the sale, and the big pieces of that were insulating and sealing the walls and roof, as well as painting the house. So Leanne's parents are also definitely part of the environmental movement, so we were all on the same page about that. And that saved a lot of money on heating. I think that was a large part of the idea. But then pretty soon after that, we started talking about renovating, and it was mostly really due to the bathroom, which was small with a low ceiling and had a rotting floor. And the carpenter ants. So we just started dreaming, and one of the big things that we wanted to do was eliminating the oil-burning furnace. Environmentalists who live in a house with an oil-burning furnace sort of carry a guilt around with them. And then we just started planning, and it got bigger and bigger from there. We got quite ambitious.
Can you tell the viewers a little about the history and meaning behind this house and your project?
Sure. Leanne's grandfather bought the property along with the rest of this block, actually, in 1922. He moved from the interior. He just moved to Hammond and got a job at the Hammond Cedar Mill down the road, which just closed last year. Actually, the little yellow house next door was the only building there. It was 2 rooms. And although he wasn't a builder, he quickly added rooms to that house and then built this one for his family. He had recently married a widow, so the little yellow house was pretty small for his new wife, her mother, her 2 daughters, and himself. So he built this one very quickly. It's hard to believe it was 1922 that he bought the property, and then 1923 this house was here. But I guess he had a lot of help from the other people at the mill. And soon there were 3 more houses he built on the block, and he rented them out to other mill workers. Cool. So it's been continuously owned since then with Leanne's family. It was actually rented out for about 40 years because Leanne's mom and her new husband, Leanne's dad, lived here for a time and then built another property and built a house on another property in Maple Ridge and moved there. So this was rented out for 40 years and we were moving in. So actually there's a certain amount of benefit from having it rented out rather than owned all that time because renters tend to not change things. There was a definite risk that if you had the owner in the house for 40 years, they may have done things like taken this wood wainscoting and ripped it out or painted it instead of leaving the wood.
In an extended online podcast interview, Sea Changemakers explores some of the details involved in the Hammond Forever House retrofit project, some of the pitfalls and their victories. Join us there.